So my business is falling apart. My faith is being challenged. I'm finding that church is becoming more and more empty for me. Um, and all this time, my sole intention has been to just know God. And so throughout this time, I've been taking. He 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 really worked with me to help me discover who He was. Um, and the interesting thing was, I started to find out more and more who I really was. Um, but it was very chaotic and it was very painful. And then in 2007 was just it was absolutely the most difficult year of my life, for so many reasons. Um, everything was falling apart, and didn't make sense. And we were in my wife and I were in some very serious financial difficulties. I mean, we were in huge debt, huge debt, and there just wasn't a way out, and that we could see, and we kept believing that God was going to come through, that He was going to do something, and something amazing. It's having faith, and it was a tough time. I think the toughest part of it all was the ambiguity, was the just the unknown. Um, we just had no idea what was going to happen. And in March of 2007, we welcomed our first child into the world, and he was just amazing. He's an amazing kid, and it's an amazing feeling to become a parent. Um, just awesome. And yet every time I looked at him, I'm like, how is this going to happen? I don't have any money. We don't have any money. We don't have any indication of how we're going to get out of this situation. I had no answers, and I was tired. Just the most tired I've ever been in my life. It's hard to describe that kind of tired. Just your whole soul, your whole spirit, your whole body is just, you've got nothing. I would wake up in the middle of the night, and for about a second, everything was great. And then the whole world would come crashing back in on me. All these problems, all of these concerns, all of this, excuse me, all of this unknown. Just, it's hard to describe if you've never been there. But it's so tough. And so in the midst of all of this change, I mean, these are changes that most people might happen to somebody once or twice. They might go through something like this once every 5 years. Everything was hitting us all at once. Just a complete financial collapse. A new baby, first-time parents. We didn't understand what it meant to have a kid and how much work it is, how much patience we're supposed to have, that we need to have. The beauty that he gave us, contrasted with the horror and the pain and the difficulty that we felt looking at these other situations. Just this complete conflict of emotions and feelings. And I remember one night, Alexis and I were sitting down, just talking about all this, and just again trying to figure it out, trying to come up with some kind of answer. And she just said, I'm done. I'm not even at the bottom of the barrel. I'm through the barrel. I'm on my way to China. I'm so far beyond myself. I'm done. And I'd come to the same conclusion pretty much about a month earlier. I told God, one of the most saddest moments of my life. I told God, after 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 years of knowing Him and believing in Him in some sort of way, I said, I'm done, man. I can't do this journey with you anymore. It's too much. It's too much. If you were a person, a physical person on earth, and I was in a relationship with you, I'd call the cops on you because you're abusing me. I'm done. I cannot walk with you anymore. You cannot treat me like this anymore. And I went to bed that night with this just a complete and utter sadness, with the reality, the fact that I was done with faith, with God. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know. The main reason I came to God in the first place was so that He would give me an identity and He would give me a purpose, so that He would help me figure out who I was. And while that was happening, in a great way, in an unprecedented way, the pain was so great, I just couldn't bear it. It was either discover who I was, or go back to being just this mediocre entity of a person with no clear direction or purpose, and not have the pain of the whole faith thing. So it was a tough point. For some reason, the next morning when I woke up, the first thing I did was went and did a devotion that I'd been doing, and the title was Disciple or Deserter, and the verse was John 6:66, which basically paraphrased says, from that time on, all His disciples went away and left Him. And it was just like God was saying, please don't leave me. You don't understand what's happening. It's painful, but please, you cannot leave me at this point. And it was just this heartfelt cry, you know. And as much pain as I was in, as much as I resented God at that point, and I resented God at that point, I just was like, all right, if you say I can go on, we'll go on. I don't know where it's going to go, but, you know, in the interest of discovery, we'll do it. Because some part of me still wanted to believe that He would take care of me, and that He would create something miraculous, because at that point, in my entire life, that's what he did. And that was another tough point of this time in my life. Up until this point in my life, from the time I told Him in 1999, God, you better hold up your end of the bargain, I would do something, He would respond. I would do something, He would respond. Things would happen. And that just wasn't happening at this point. He had shifted. He had shifted the way He was moving in my life, and the way that He was growing me. And I just couldn't comprehend it. And so we're sitting here on the couch that night. It was a Tuesday night. And Alexa says, I'm done. I'm through the bottom of the barrel. I just can't take another thing. I wake up the next morning. I get a call from her dad. Her parents lived in Colorado, and we're in Pennsylvania. And I get a call from her dad. It was Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock in the morning. And as soon as I saw the phone, as soon as I saw his name on the caller ID, I knew that something was really wrong. He never calls me. And I get on the phone with him, and he's like, she's gone, Brian. And it was just this total, it's hard to describe that feeling of just complete, somebody punches you in your soul, just completely obliterates any hope, any thread of anything good that you have, gone. And just the emptiness that you feel, and the sorrow that you feel, because we were very, very close, extremely close. It's just like, she's gone, Brian. She was 51 years old, woke up one morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, went in, made coffee, laid down on the couch, and was gone. Just went to sleep. And it was just devastating to Alexis and I. And from that point on, in those moments, the little faith that we had I've never been more challenged in my life to go on. And I don't know, it's not a faith that I even had. It's something supernatural. It even let me consider the possibility of continuing on this journey with God at that point. You know, I don't know why God does things the way He does in the order He does them. I mean, 4 months ago, in 2007, we welcomed our first child into the world. Just in the midst of all this other stuff, we welcomed him into the world. What a gift. What an amazing gift. 4 months later, we lose somebody, this cycle of life. and just gut wrenching, you know. And that's when it was in that moment that I realized I am in the middle of the most epic part of my life that I've ever been in.